Hey, friends. We're back.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone.
I'm going to speak for myself, but I don't think I'll be too out of line to say I think Mercury retrograde is hitting all of us really hard today.
It's a thing.
Or
It's a thing.
at least lately, maybe this week.
I think it's definitely a thing. I think we are hypersensitive. And, I mean, let's be honest. Mercury retrograde just gives us an opportunity to blame it on something.
Yes.
When it would be the regular old weak shenanigans of nonsense.
Right.
And then we can be like,
We should have a jar, almost like a swear jar, every time we say Mercury retrograde.
or every time we blame Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
How many? Okay, so how often does Mercury retrograde happen in a year?
4 times.
4, yeah.
Okay. So Mercury retrograde.
It's a solid quarter of the year.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
So,
no,
like,
what is it? The 1st through the 22nd?
yeah, it's like 21, 22, something like
Through
that.
the 22nd.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then there's like the shadow aspect that comes before and lingers a little bit after, so there can still be shenanigans.
Do we, like, just put gift certificates for acupuncture and massage in a jar, and every time we exclaim it in a really angry way, it's like, oh, throw that in the jar. We're gonna get that later. We're gonna need this.
Maybe.
Well, that sounds like a great ongoing
I
thing.
thought so too.
So
Seems like it's
see if it
New-
fits in the budget.
new to staff. The blessings jar. See how quickly that went.
Blessings
See how quickly that
The
went
blessings
from.
jar.
oh,
You mentioned
man.
massage and acupuncture, and
Yeah.
we're all like, okay, Mercury retrograde.
I tried to send 2
Yeah.
emails that didn't work. The electricity was going in and out.
Oh,
it
all
was.
yeah.
morning
It was
here.
definitely moving in and out.
And apparently there are a bunch of trees down,
Oh,
which people always think that Mercury retrograde is predominantly about like electronics communication, which is true. It's also about travel.
oh yeah, it is. Now that you say that.
Like ultimately Mercury is the messenger, right? So like the
Hermes.
traveling from one place to another.
Hermes,
Hermes.
the Greek equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blair was actually like, he was like a little nervous. He said, "We're traveling during Mercury retrograde. What do you think we should do?"
Oh.
And I was like, "I don't know."
Strap in.
Just like,
That's all you got to do.
I don't know.
right? I
Hold
mean,
on tight.
Well,
it's kind of
you
like your mom said. You can only double check things, right? You
Yeah.
double check things. You kind of
You just double check.
yeah, yep.
Expect
Patience.
the unexpected.
Yeah.
There might be weirdness.
What are we, spies now? What is this?
There
I'm gonna
might,
add that to my.
there
Here's
might be
your
weird-
YFI teacher
repertoire.
orientation packet. Chapter 1 is expect the unexpected.
Expect the
That's-
unexpected.
That's amazing.
If
Yeah.
we just did that, we would be a lot less freaked out when the unexpected happens.
This is true.
There
Expectations.
could be delays, like when you're traveling during Mercury retrograde. There can be delays. So
No,
thinking that like
I'm not accepting.
you're
that.
gonna leave,
I'm going to Laguna Beach.
Oh.
you're gonna leave at a particular time. You want to plan to leave like an hour and a half before that.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. Lots of spaciousness.
Yeah.
In a Mercury travel space.
Was it yesterday or the day before with the 11-day challenge? I had a couple things happen. First, it was I had an alarm go off in like 15 minutes in. That like, why would I have an alarm here?
Like on your phone?
Yeah, my phone.
Huh.
I was like, what is quickly I was able to shut it off. I was like, that's weird. And then Siri got me chanting long echoing cars, which usually doesn't happen.
Siri, Wahe,
Wahe,
Guru. Yeah.
Guru.
When you chant Siri,
Uh-huh.
this is totally on topic. When you chant Siri,
Mm-hmm.
Siri hears it
Oh, okay.
and will be like,
It's like, what do you need?
what do you need?
What can I help you with?
Like,
I'm like, no,
I'm like,
not
no,
now.
we were chanting
Interesting.
Siri, not saying
Can you-
Siri.
You can change the name of Siri,
Oh,
Right.
so that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then I had all devices fully charged, and then my speaker shut off, and then turned back on, and then shut off again. And so then I just start playing it through my phone. This is all, friends, back me up here. This was very smooth transaction, I do believe. And
Man.
then I looked at the other things, right? And all of a sudden my computer was like flashing low battery. I was like, this was just charged. What is happening?
Yeah.
Mercury's in the microwave.
And everything worked out. you know.
Usually it does, which is
It
what I
usually
need to
does.
remind myself before I start flipping out on.
Before I'm like, honey, where are you going? I'm going to Target.
Don't want to.
Why? I don't want to talk about it.
Don't want to talk about
Do
it.
you know what it was? It was I forgot something and found it at Target, which was 10 minutes away, instead of our house, which was 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well-
I was just so mad that I forgot something twice in a month.
I mean, I was like, God, every time he comes down here, he gets grumpy.
Dude,
he needs to not
doesn't
come
matter
down here.
how early I get here,
Woo,
how ready I
this
am.
is real life, friends.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's,
Gotta
it's
mellow
all
out.
right. I mean,
Guys,
I feel like you transitioned very well.
I think everything's figure outable.
That's also true.
This is the second time I've heard
Well,
you say this in
Unless
in
we
the last
need,
24 hours.
That's all I can keep saying.
That's
I
all
mean-
we can keep saying.
while you are not wrong, if we did not have the piece of thing that I went to go get at Target,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
we would not be sitting here being able to do this right now.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, we live in a place where
Yeah.
you could go get the thing from
I
Target.
had one in my car.
Seriously?
I'm just kidding.
I was both shocked and actually furious. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, well, I didn't tell anyone.
For the
You
friends
didn't
that are
tell
wondering, I
anybody.
know everyone's wondering, what is this thing that they're
It's just a
talking about?
dongle.
It's a dongle. It's an adapter to get from a USB
And friends, what a dongle is an adapter.
USB to a
Do
USB-C.
people not know what dongles are?
I've never heard that word in my life.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Something that is right. It was easy to get, but very important, and I forgot it at home. I was more mad that I forgot something twice in the span of 4 weeks. Failure.
No.
Failure, but I saved the day. It's all.
Yeah. Maybe you just needed that hero moment.
I
So
hate.
it was, like,
I don't
meant to
want those.
happen.
He
I,
hates the hero.
I don't. I want to be sitting
Well,
in
then
that table
That's what you're supposed
doing
to
my
do.
work or doing what any office worker does at work, screwing around on the internet, not
Yeah.
running around because I forgot something stupid.
Yeah. What were you in the midst of when you, like, it dawned on you that you didn't have that?
Well, I was
setting up.
setting up,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is weird because I took out like the wireless mouse that I have that I use the dongle for also.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh. Oh, I guess I forgot the dongle. I can't use my mouse. Proceeded to work for 45 minutes,
Oh.
not piecing the two together. How I
Oh.
needed the dongle not just for the mouse, but also. Then I was like, and I'm glad I started sitting up early. If it was 10 minutes later, I would have been.
Yeah, I
10
mean, I got to give it to you. You've been getting here pretty early for these setups.
All right, yeah.
But,
He secretly wants to hang out with us.
and, yeah.
That's why when I come to the studio, I come into a different room and shut the door.
Good
That's
God.
Key sign. He wants to hang out
Parallel
with us.
play.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
Well,
Parallel play.
There was times years
Like-
ago when we were all totally remote,
Mhm.
right, and scattered across states, and we would even talk about what would it be like if we shared an office. Like,
Yeah.
what would I be doing if we all shared an office? Like,
Uh-huh.
I would be like the
Locked
team
in your
morale,
office.
or I'd be locked in my office, or be like, oh, hey everyone, let's do Final Four brackets. We can all
Right.
do it together and like do fun stuff like that.
So you're
we
saying
have
for like 20 minutes to
Ye-
30 minutes, we're
of
going to
work.
be together.
No, of work, and then screw around a lot. I am not the hard worker. Do I seem like a hard worker?
Yeah.
You're focused and
I
you're
was like,
quiet.
yeah.
You're like the student that we would have in high school, teaching high school, where like they're not doing anything naughty.
Mm-hmm.
They're not loud. They're not
No.
disrupting anyone.
Yeah.
So you could make the assumption that they're hard at work
Yes.
when they are in fact like listening to music in their
Yeah.
earbuds with their hood up on their sweatshirt, but you don't care. You're like, you are an excellent student, and they're not actually doing any of the work.
Yeah. That's a phrase.
You're flying under the radar a bit.
Flying under the radar is how I.
And the work is always
roll.
done.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
true. The work
you
is
do.
always done,
You get
so-
very, very focused, and you do your work, and
And
then
the
I
work is-
try to come in your space or dance around the library, and you're like, you turn into Cher's dad from
Yeah.
from Clueless.
Stop dancing around the library. Go
Yeah.
away.
Especially if it's that focus time and you're in that wheelhouse of focus and creativity.
Yeah.
It's always the time when someone's like, hey, can you just make eye contact? I want to tell you this thing. And I'm like, okay. And then in my mind, I was just doing this thing, doing this thing. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he does the same thing. I'm like,
I do,
I will
but-
be super focused, and he's like, hey, honey. So, when we were watching that movie 4 days ago, and there was that actor. Did you know that he was also in this other movie that now I want to watch because I can't stop thinking about it? And then I'll be like, oh, are you in the middle of something?
You're like, oh, cool.
I'm like,
And I was
Not
gonna
at
say,
all.
I thought we were doing good communicating because when you do that to me, I just say, "Hold on, give me a second,"
Oh.
which means I'm ignoring. It sounds like I'm ignoring you or blowing you off.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose whatever I'm doing right
I've
now.
gotten a lot better at that, I
Yeah.
think, too. Like just saying, like,
Yeah.
hey, okay, 1 second.
And you know what? Once you realize,
And when
not
I counted the other day, I think 1 second turned into 4 or 5 minutes.
once you
for
realize,
making ramen noodles.
Oh,
yeah. So
was it a child request?
it was a child
Yeah, yeah.
request.
once you realize, not everything has to be a thing. You can be as blunt with your partner, and it's just fine.
Yeah. Okay.
We have this realization. I'm leaning hard into that.
My
event.
problem is that I am an expert tuner outer.
Yes,
So
and that I hate that.
my hearing deficiency contributes to this, definitely. And like, I think that there could just be like total chaos right over there in that corner, and I would be completely oblivious to all of it if
Yeah.
I'm in
Yeah.
the zone.
I hate it so much.
I'm not listening
relate
to
to that.
anything. I can't hear anything. I have entered a zone of thought that there's almost this impenetrable force field around me, and you could go like blah 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 blah, and I haven't even heard you yet to say, hold on a minute, because it's just not registering. It's
Yeah.
just sound from the other room.
Right.
I just wish you'd be like pre-K pause.
Hasn't registered yet.
All right.
And usually by the time it does, you've already told 3/4 of your story.
Yep. And then, you know, the other thing you do that drives me absolutely insane.
Oh, good.
And it's not
Glad-
just me.
Glad this is where this is
Here we
going.
go.
It's the children too. If you're ever reading something or looking something on your phone or whatever, watching something, you will audibly gasp, and then everyone that's in the room is like, "What? What?" Dead silence for 30 seconds, and we're like, "What did you say?" Still silence,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just like, "Can you please?" And then I get to the point where like, I actually don't care anymore,
Yeah.
so you can keep this
What's that?
yourself.
I'll be like, oh,
Forever.
it's a snake.
Yeah, and then or someone else does that to me, and then I'm like, then they show me, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Was this it? Was this is what you want to show me? This is
Like,
it?
this,
Okay.
this was the big gasp. This was, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh geez, that's not front desk. We just
I-
front that. We
That's
just
front
front
desk today.
desked
We did Mercury
Front-
retrograde.
all our
Front desk
frustration.
the
What?
whole show.
The front desk of frustration.
That's what today was. It was like we're checking in at the frustration suite.
Oh boy.
Frustration suites.
That's not what we're here to
love
talk about, though.
Everybody.
Me too. We love everybody. Look, see, I have heart earrings in.
Yes,
I
they're
could
very
go, I
pretty.
could go either way.
Eh.
What are we here to talk about today?
Yeah.
We are here to talk about music.
Oh, look at
This
us.
is a common.
Is that why you wore this cool jean jacket?
Yeah, because I'm badass.
I wore my baggy sweater today, so I'm also
We're
representing.
very cool.
Matt's got his hat on today.
Well, he
so
has this Cthulhu
this is
t-shirt
our
on.
this is our
Yeah.
aesthetic
Yeah.
for
So-
the day.
This is a common student inquiry.
Okay.
How often do you think we get asked, can I have this playlist?
On the regular.
Like multiple times a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what was on this playlist?
Or like,
what was
what was
the
that
song?
song?
What was the song?
What was the
was the
version of
song?
that song?
Who did it?
I love that. I would love to get. I would geek out over those questions. I would love to share stuff like that if I
Mhm.
were teaching like that.
We do.
We
do,
yeah.
We try to make it as public. You know, thankfully there are places like Spotify and stuff.
Right. You can just share playlists.
I mean,
pretty
back
easy.
in the day when there were not those sharing platforms, like I would be like, I can take a picture
Mm-hmm.
of my playlist and send it to you, and you can make your own. And then even earlier before that, like making a playlist CD
Whoa.
to teach with
Yeah.
to teach a class with.
I wasn't in on that,
I
but
was gonna say
Woo!
you're dating yourself, Nana.
I
with that.
know.
I did receive a couple playlist CDs. In my
CDs, mixed
day.
CD, mixtapes.
Mixtapes,
Ooh,
yeah.
Wow, that is
Got a
cool.
couple
It's a love
dropped in my
language.
locker.
Well, now Sabrina, you are probably. I'm gonna make an assumption and ask a question.
Okay.
Have you? I'm assuming you are young enough where you did not actually receive a mixtape, like on cassette,
No.
just
mm-mm.
CDs. Okay,
No.
because by
I
the
remember
time,
having some mixtapes.
okay, but-
Or cassettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember the first one was Jewel. And I
Oh.
would sit in my dad's 87 Scirocco outside of, he had a garage. I would sit outside in the Scirocco And I would
Sharkas
listen.
are iconic.
Yeah, I would, except for when you're going to church and it's squealing like, "Ee," and you're always late 5 minutes, and mass has already started. That's my that's my experience with the Scirocco.
The priest and everyone's already done the procession down the aisle.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, and he's like, before he speaks, you could even hear.
That's us, yeah.
Nice.
Chirpannies have arrived.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember listening to that cassette tape and then flipping it over other side. And then I was like, why wouldn't they put these two songs on the same side? They're like the best ones. And then I got to flip it and get to the other
That's fine.
side, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah.
et
So
cetera.
you were listening to both sides.
You know,
Right.
pre-new age problems, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, pre-CD, pre-mixed CD problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm going to date myself. When I would listen to the radio with the tape in the tape player, I'm like, oh, I like the song, and hit record.
Mm-hmm.
Then the jackass who's DJing talks over the first 30 seconds, which I hated. Not surprising. Someone
Mhm.
talking over music. Like, please stop. But that's the only way you can get, like, if you didn't own it already,
Mhm.
that's the way you can get it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was making mixed CDs. This was not during the tape era.
Mhm.
I was making mixed CDs for yoga class playlists. And then it would be like, I would forget what was on them, you know, and then you get to do the really fun thing where you take a Sharpie and you write on the outside of the CD every single song
Oh,
that
yeah.
you've put on the playlist.
Yeah.
So at least then students would be like, what was on that playlist? And I'd be like, hang on, take the CD out. And they would have a piece of paper and they would
Wow.
write down all of the names of the songs
It's
so
a
they
s-
could go home and recreate it.
It's
So
a simpler time.
it's a simpler time. You can just share a little playlist. We can share our entire Spotify accounts. Like,
It's true.
I'm just like, it's all out there.
Mine's
you-
first name, last name.
Oh,
I keep things super simple.
Def-
I
Definitely-
think mine's Genie's Magic.
Genie's Magic.
Oh,
Genie's
definitely
underscore.
in the show
magic, I
notes,
think,
there
right?
will be links to
Yeah.
playlists that
Yeah.
we
I
deem
have
awesome.
5 trillion of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I have a
5
bazillion.
trillion, yeah.
At least.
At
You have
least.
5 trillion tabs open on your computer. I can't even
You
imagine
are
how
the
many
one
playlists you
earlier
have.
that was saying that you had 900.
You know
Yeah,
what I
but
love?
that was an
I love
exaggeration.
accusations that start with, quote, you are the one.
You are the one.
It's like an extra level
You
of
are
accusation.
the one.
You're the one.
I have a question about
Not
teaching.
me.
I have a question about teaching to a CD.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you find that tricky because you could not, like, pause and unpause? Like, pretty much when you hit play, the CD plays. Like, maybe if something took a little bit longer or you wanted to get to the next thing, did you,
It
is
was
that
an
tricky?
art form, man.
But
It was an art
am I
form.
right in assuming, because to me, that would be tricky.
Except that you design your entire class based on that playlist.
Okay.
So, or vice versa. So, like, I have an idea of what I want the class flow. And this is when I was teaching vinyasa a lot. So I'd have an idea of like the flow of the class. And I'm like, oh, this song is 3 minutes and 36 seconds. We're going to do sun salutations for this entire song.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like planning the class and then matching it with the playlist so that you didn't have to worry about that.
Mm.
There were times, like the only thing was like sometimes you'd have to like turn down the volume.
Yeah.
So I'd have to walk over and like turn
Right.
down the volume just because like it was a really loud part of the song.
Yeah, because if
and
you're-
I'm still teaching, trying to talk.
If
That's one of my
you're-
favorite things to do too. Is just drown
Fade
out,
it out.
Fade it
the
out,
sound.
right?
Fade
yeah.
it out.
Yep.
It's another art form.
There's a lot going on.
Did that happen a lot with like if you're taking tracks from different CDs or like different digital copies? Did you find like the volume was that an issue? Was that hard? The pain? Seems like it'd be a pain.
I mean, not often because I was like, oh, this volume would work to do, you know, a power flow. Like this would work to go from a warrior posture to a side angle posture or like a goddess pose where you're like moving back and forth and like breathing really intensely. So you just match it with the energy level of the pose.
Props.
That was, I mean, it was a thing. And then I would have to kind of remember, the hard part was remembering like, oh, this is my super chill CD. And sometimes
Is
I
that,
would,
is that what you called it?
yeah. So sometimes I just write that like this is super chill. So the class, I would know that any of the classes that I'm teaching that are pretty like low energy, low impact, slower would match up with that CD. But it's a simpler time now. It's easier.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. Like, just from when I watch you teach, if I'm in your class and I think about it, I notice you sometimes like pausing or doing stuff with volume, and it's like so subtle because you can do it all on your phone, and
On
you
my
don't need
phone.
to get up and go across the room or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah, it's way easier now to develop a solid playlist and sometimes to go rogue with it.
That's generally me.
You go rogue.
I go
What is?
rogue.
Please, I can't wait to hear what Sabrina considers going rogue.
Well, I just let the music play.
This is chaos.
It is very organized chaos.
Mm.
We let the music play and then we see what happens. And, then it's like, oh, okay, we're going to do this now. And then just a few clicks of a button. That's where it's super simple. A few clicks of a button. We're like, okay, we're doing this for this now. I feel pretty good at it in a sense of like when I go to find that song super quick, it's in a moment where we are supposed to be eyes closed down
Right.
or child's pose or something of that nature.
Yep.
So it's
Shavasana.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like super. But sometimes I just like letting the music play. My liked playlist is pretty mantra with a few exceptions to Dave Matthews Band.
Guru Dave Matthews.
Guru Dave Matthews.
Guru Dave.
So it'll start playing when I'm weary, like that Dave Matthews. It's like sad Dave
Sad
Matthews.
Dave Matthews. It's
Yeah.
all Dave Matthews. It's sad Dave Matthews.
That's not
for me.
true.
Yeah,
There
so
are some bops.
I'll let the liked playlist. Sometimes I announce it. We're listening to my liked playlist today. And I like to think
So-
that everyone gets all
Oh
excited.
God, I don't think I could do that with my liked playlist.
Yeah.
Because I would be like 30 minutes into class and Dr. Dre would start playing.
Yeah, not mine.
Or Ludacris.
No, I thought I knew stuff about Spotify. When you say liked playlist, what does that mean? Like just a list of all the songs you have liked.
That you-
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, if you
piece that
click on
together.
that, it's like
Oh,
all the, you're, like I'll be driving in the car. This is one of the things because students ask like, what's your playlist? And then the next follow-up question is like, well, where do you find the music?
Yeah.
Where do you find all this music? And it's like, well, if you just kind of let the devices do their thing,
right.
you start in a genre and it's going to play the next thing in that genre. And sometimes it's definitely a miss. Like, it's like, how did we get here after listening to Snodham Car, right? But a lot of times it's great. And you're like, oh, this song resonates. Click, like, and over time, you've built this eclectic.
Yeah. Oh, I have like my liked songs are 70, I think, plus, but they are all over the place.
Yeah, all
It's
over
like-
the place.
No, it's not stuff I want. It's stuff I don't want to lose. Like, oh, I found this. I like it. Like, yeah, but like, I would never play that list. Or
Yeah, for
shuffle
me,
it. It's too
rather
all over
than
the place.
like Dr. Dre coming on or Ludacris, it's Eckhart Tolle. So he'll be like
Oh.
all of a sudden, and it always begins with a ding, ding. In this present moment of awareness.
Not a song.
Yeah.
Not a song. Not
All
a
right.
song at all.
So, how many different do you have a different list for different types of Kundalini? Like, you guys, do either of you do flow, like Vinyasa flow, very much anymore? Or are you mostly Kundalini?
I'll do like a fusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do have, like, I have a Fusion Friday playlist
Fusion Friday, nice.
that's like
Is it like-
more upbeat
Okay.
and light.
Mhm.
And then there's also some Kundalini songs like mixed in there. But,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Or other like chanty artists like Krishna Das.
What about
Well,
who's one of the few I know? What's her name? Simrit.
Simran.
Yeah.
I'm on board Simrit. I'm Team Simrit. I'm
Team
liking
Simrit.
lately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine will have like Rising Appalachia.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's kind of like my.
Who are they?
There's a couple.
What's that?
See,
Like
she's
a
from Pennsylvania and she
a
says
folky-
Appalachia.
Appalachia.
Appalachia. Appalachia.
Oh, never. No.
Well, the Appalachians go like from Georgia to Maine, so there's a range of dialects that it could be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like them, and I think it's Yama, Yaima.
Yep.
Like I like their stuff as well. That's like my level of upbeat.
Mhm. Yep.
With a few like I don't know, maybe I'll throw in like Landslide or
Stevie.
some Stevie
Stevie
Nicks.
Oh, the goddess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole archetype musically
I just
Yeah.
love her.
and aesthetically
It's
for
just-
you guys. I feel like
I love it so
Yeah.
you do.
I love her. She brings me so much joy.
She does.
What was it?
Almost
You
like
sent the
Voodoo Days.
concert tickets. We're
I
like,
did.
Jessica's like, no. And we're both like, maybe.
They were expensive.
For what? Fleetwood Mac?
Stevie Nicks.
Oh, Stevie Nicks. Oh,
Yeah.
where?
Where were they? Syracuse? Albany?
Yeah, I feel like it was going to be on our way to Omega.
Oh, so maybe Albany.
Yeah.
Albany.
How much?
It was 200 and something, I think.
Yeah.
That's.
I was thinking we could probably do girl math with it.
We could do girl math with it.
Can we explain to our listeners real quick girl math?
I think everybody knows what girl math is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what girl math
I mean,
is.
Yeah.
it's,
It's a
it's
vernacular at
some
this point.
far-fetched way to rationalize.
math, not math.
It's very close fetched.
It's like if I buy Sabrina lunch for the next 2 months and she Venmos me every time, and then I buy the Stevie Nicks tickets with my Venmo, they were free.
They were free.
Right. Oh, as someone who shares an account with you, I'm a little concerned. Another one I've heard is that if you go somewhere like Target and pay cash, it's basically free.
Yeah,
free.
for sure.
Because you already took that
Because
money
the
out.
bank account number
already out
doesn't
of it.
change
Yeah,
if you pay with cash.
Well, that's also true if I pay with my Venmo.
And
That's
it's like
true.
plane tickets. So like you
Yeah.
don't I didn't purchase the seats yet, or you did, and then it's like later it's all like, oh, well, it's like pretty much
Right.
I've only paid $16 for this flight.
Maybe not that level of girl math. I don't know about that.
But I have really strong girl
But I
math.
would say if okay, so you get a cheap plane ticket. You're like, oh, this plane ticket was like $198. And then you realize that was the cheapest plane ticket you could have gotten. And it doesn't include,
Yeah.
covers on the seats or like it doesn't include your baggage. It doesn't include
the
picking your seat. It doesn't
close-
include any water.
close the cabin door fee.
So
Then you upgrade.
So you upgrade, but your plane ticket was
basically
still
free.
only $200.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's like, here's $100 in upgrades from a $100 ticket.
Just so we
You're
know,
like,
that
the
was
plane ticket's
basically
still-
what was going on in my brain. And
When we went to
thank you
Panama?
for putting it into words.
Yeah. It's great.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So, yeah.
Stevie Nicks is a whole thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
I want to hear at least one of your playlists. What's on it? What's it for? What's your favorite one? Is it personal? Do you like was your own practice? Something you bring to class? Hit me with something.
Oh gosh. I like to start a lot of my playlists with the Sri Argala Strotram by Krishna Das. The one that evolves into I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Yep. Now I do like that. When I first heard it, I was listening to it, and as the song progressed, I'm like, this sounds kind of familiar. And the vocals hadn't started yet, so I'm like, and he started singing. I'm like, it is that
It
song. I wasn't
is.
crazy.
It's a crowd
That's a good
pleaser.
one.
And
It
by
is really
crowd
good.
pleaser, I mean nearly guaranteed someone in class is crying
Okay.
before the end of that song.
Wow. We have different goals for playlists,
It's true. It's very, very true.
but that's good. What else you got on it? And I think, talk about one that we can share, or at least artists that we can also share that we like, because I think we're naming a lot of artists
Mm-hmm.
that people may not know and should check out.
I think that India Ari is a really so India Ari started off as like an R&B singer
Mm-hmm.
and then made this whole like beautiful spiritual album. So I love her I Am Light song. I think it's really beautiful. And so that's kind of like it's fun in yoga teaching to be the bridge. So we can listen to Krishna Das play a pretty traditional chant that has complicated lyrics and then evolve into I want to know what love is. I want you to, you know,
Right.
so it's like there's some familiarity
Right.
there.
There's a kind of an anchor.
Yeah. And so with India Ari, it's like there's this familiarity with her voice and her cadence and the way that she sings. And then she's singing this really beautiful spiritual music. So she's another one.
Yeah. I'd find that it helps like settle into the space. It's like familiar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a familiar song.
Yeah. It's nice to find those that are like, that are both. Ajit Kaur
Yeah.
is another artist that we listen to a lot and play a lot in in classes and just, promote her music. I saw her perform in Auburn one year.
Really? Auburn?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
It was really, really sweet. And she's just fantastic. And I really love her version of a call that she does with Trevor Hall.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful version of the chant. And again, it's like,
Yeah, I like that middle part where it has like a little bit of almost like a beat to it.
mm-hmm.
It gets is that the one that goes,
Yeah. Well, and again, it's like there's the traditional chant lyrics in whatever language that particular artist is chanting in, and then there's English lyrics too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So it's another way of like, Snotum Carr has this beautiful song, Servant of Peace, where through a lot of the song she's chanting, and then she's singing the prayer of Saint Francis.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. I love music and mantra that goes like that.
Yeah.
Where they add in the English translation.
Yeah.
And
It's helpful.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's helpful.
Since I am not as versed in Kundalini as you guys are, so even I'm listening to it.
True anymore, but
What? It's totally true. I haven't done. You remember last week when I was like 5 days in a row, Suhibi Kriya?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't done it since. I hurt myself.
You did.
I did. I went to the gym. I'm like, I want to squat triple digits, and I did. And then the next day, I'm like, ooh, there's some
Why?
ouchies.
I knew
Why
it was
do you-
about.
why do we do these
I
things?
knew that you did.
You could have just done frogs.
I did that morning. That was like
Oh.
my base
during
practice.
Sahibi Kriya.
Then I'm like, I gotta go to the gym.
Mm.
I need to not become like most middle-aged men and have no butt. So
He's very concerned about his butt.
I really am.
You are.
Because you know what? Sometimes we'll be in line at the bakery and you will grab it in front of people.
I was there.
And if that's the case,
it was cute. Everyone appreciated it.
right. And I don't want to be like,
Everybody
what is she
noticed.
grabbing? That's ridiculous.
I was like timing it. I was like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
It was so
It was a solid 4 until the
was-
lady behind started laughing.
She really started laughing.
I was like, I saw that.
In
It's
my
like
he-
it's still happening.
in my brain while it's going on, I'm like, okay, this is a normal wife move, nothing out of the ordinary. These jeans just came out of the dryer, so it's a little tight.
They
I
were
wish
tight.
I wish she wasn't doing it for this long. It's been too long now.
Your butt was banging. It was firm. I mean, it was gonna be a graze, and then it just progressed.
That make it-
Ooh,
The Beatles.
so
Sorry, but it's a good one
It is
to
a good
bring
one.
into class.
That is a good point. I
It
was
is.
actually wondering about not chanty, like artists
Yeah.
you use on the regular that are like not specifically Kundalini chanting, stuff
Yep.
like that.
the Beatles
This
for
one
sure. It's relevant, and they like went through their whole,
I could
Right.
meditation and traveling to India and finding their guru.
That's
and
when my mom stopped listening to the Beatles. She's like, I didn't like listening to them when they got weird.
oh my God, Ellen, it's amazing.
Hi, Ellen.
I don't think
Shout out
Ellen's
to
listening.
Shout out to Ellen this week.
Shout out to Ellen this week.
Ellen. It's just gonna be like the mothers
It
Yeah.
really
make
is.
periodic appearances in our podcast.
Much like in your
Well, you
life.
know.
Every
Much
now
like
and
in
then
real life.
something shows up like, that's your mother speaking right there.
That is.
This is one I have on my Pitta playlist. I can see clearly now. I can see clearly.
Oh, it's a great
now,
one.
the
Yeah, that's good.
rain
Oh, so you have
Wasn't I singing that earlier? I might.
you have
been.
a specific playlist for a dosha practice? Is that go with a cream?
Apparently, I don't
do too.
really. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Okay.
This playlist is just called number 2. So
Oh.
And your favorite Simrit song is on my Air playlist.
Oh, because
My
the song's
Vouch
called
playlist.
Air, I think, isn't it? Maybe it's called
well,
Air.
the new version of it is called Air.
Yeah. She has a beautiful voice.
You gonna
Oh,
sing
Air?
it for us?
Nope.
Come on.
That-
Just 2 lines.
Nope.
Sabrina,
Air.
she does such a good job with this.
I'll close my eyes.
It's not you looking at me that really is the concern. But thank you.
It's
I'll give a background hum.
Pavana Pavana. Bada, bada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pavanguru. I was going with the quick one. Waheguru, Waheguru, Pavanguru.
No, it's not.
And
that.
it also
I know,
doesn't
yeah.
help that they're not chanting in
Um,
English, so it's
Air
just like
is
sounds,
my
you know.
Mhm.
When I
Yeah.
first started teaching, Air was my favorite one to play coming out of Shavasana.
It's so
Mm.
good.
Okay.
Because it's just like, it starts with that.
Okay.
Like, it's just like, oh, okay. you're landing back.
I was
You're
gonna say
coming
like
back.
waking up from a dream
You're waking
type
up
feel.
from a
All right.
dream.
Yep.
You're in the
Cool.
It does.
Yes.
Very
Exactly.
winds blowing. And
That was
Mhm.
always. And then I was like, maybe I should switch it up a little bit.
That's good. I see.
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna do tonight, or tomorrow night? Well, next time we can watch a movie, honey. We're gonna watch High Fidelity, the John Cusack movie,
Oh, okay.
because he works at a record store with Jack
Yep.
Black,
Yep.
and he talks about making the perfect, essentially mixed CD.
Nice.
Like, it doesn't call them playlists. And I think the adding infinite music to a playlist has affected the art of making a mixed list,
I agree.
because
I agree.
you could just throw everything on it and it could be 40 hours long,
right.
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like, you have 60 minutes. You got to curate this and
Curate.
arrange it properly.
Yeah, and it's so funny because this is a highly debated topic also in the field of yoga.
Really?
Is this idea of like, do you or don't you? Do you play music in class? Do you not play music in class? And I think that for probably any of our students, they're like, really? This is debated? Because we all love music and we use music in class. And, what is true is that music, not unlike anything that's going to have an impact on sensory experience in a place, in a space, can be really good and nail it, or it could be really not good. If it's not someone's vibe,
It's true.
they're going to spend the next 3 minutes and 36 seconds being tortured by the fact that they're being forced to listen to this song.
Right. I could think of one song that is always on a playlist of a class that I take of yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite song.
Oh, I bet I could guess
What
what
one
it
is it? I'm curious.
What is it?
Take Me to Church.
No?
Oh.
I was
No?
gonna say we
Nope.
need a whiteboard for this.
We do. We do, yeah.
Coming next week
Um,
for our visual listeners.
The newlywed hour.
it's not. No, it's not that. I maybe have oversold how much I dislike that song, which is not fair because
Oh.
it's actually fine. It's one. You want to try again?
The Black Eyed Peas.
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one to get
Yeah.
going though.
I like Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
Where is the love?
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Bam,
I'm
bam,
out
bam,
then.
bam, bam. Is that it? The Black Eyed Peas one?
What
Nope. I think it's from Wicked.
are you playing Wicked?
I don't know. Maybe.
What?
I don't know.
Well, how's it go?
God.
Look it up
You've
on
built
here.
it up this much.
I know.
Yeah, we need to know.
I'm trying to think how it goes. I can't even do it. It's so
This is how I feel when you're like, make a sound effect.
Right. Tell a story with a sound effect.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I hate it.
I don't remember.
Maybe it'll come back
Maybe
to you.
it'll come back to me.
All
If
of
you do,
that
put it-
build up,
put it in
and then
the-
you're not gonna tell us.
We'll put it in the link,
All right.
everyone.
If we can pause, because we can edit this all out.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
get my
let's pause.
phone.
Your phone is recording.
Well, then I guess this isn't happening right now.
Why don't you just look
And
on your computer? Why don't you look on your computer?
It's like it should be.
Oh.
See, that didn't sound at all. It's just like she's
Name this song.
It's such a high. I can't even do it without like squeaking because it's a woman that's singing and it's very high. It's like I thought it was from a play.
Can you do it one more time?
Are you fucking with me? I should be kind and I just don't need it.
Oh, yeah. I should be crying.
No.
Yeah, you know it.
That's it.
Woman's Worth.
Are you talking about Kate Bush right now?
Oh, I'm gonna
is
stay
it?
out of this
yeah,
one.
Probably. Don't like it. Yeah, don't like it. Sorry.
Break on, you can go. Wow.
Yeah.
That
Sorry.
song
A woman's worth.
Oh yeah, there we go.
brings everyone
That's a tear.
to tears at the end of class.
Is
because
that the one from Ghost?
No.
No.
It's from this movie with Kevin
I
Bacon.
don't know why I
I
thought it
was
was from
close. I
Wicked.
was darn close.
I don't know either. It's from a movie with Kevin Bacon called She's Having a Baby.
Oh, okay.
And he is like sitting in the hospital thinking she's dying in
Okay.
labor because there was like complications,
Right.
crying and like thinking about all of their memories and just like their time together. It is like totally, but this is the thing about music, right? Is like for some people, you're going to hit this memory that feels so nostalgic and so good, but you're risking it. you're risking it because you could also play the song that they listened to right after their, partner broke up with them
Yeah.
after 17 years, you know,
True.
like or you play their wedding song and that brings up energy. Like
Right.
it's similar. It's not as intense, I don't think, but it's similar in nature to smell and the olfactory nerve and having that
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Because when I was teaching this morning, one of the students that was in class, she was like, oh, I was playing my protest playlist this morning.
Nice.
And
go Genie,
That's a good one.
go.
she was like, oh, you just brought me back like 50 years. I was playing Bob Dylan and Buffalo Springfield and like, so, and George Harrison and John Lennon. I mean, it was a whole vibe. And she was just so happy, and it could easily go in the other direction.
Right. I mean, the only thing I think of when I hear that song in class is like, ugh, this song. That's it.
Okay.
That's where it stops. I mean, like,
When
it's like,
will
ugh.
it be over?
Nope. No, the thought is, ugh, it's this song. And that's the end of the thought, and I just am in whatever I'm in.
Now I'm not even going to be able to play this song.
I have the thought. I recognize it. Swipe it away and go back to what I was doing.
Wow.
I don't sit there the next 3 minutes be
That's-
like, this is
That's
dog
some
shit.
yogi stuff right there.
Now, what if
awful.
I played Mr. Jones by Counting
Mr.
Crows?
That would-
Jones and me.
That would
Yogi Marches.
it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
really hard to not have an audible, disgusting.
Ugh.
What if he was just like one day, excuse me, right? in the middle of
Right.
class.
Well, it's
He just
like,
walks up to the
Skip
front of the
this
room
song.
and
He'll get a-
hits skip
he'll use
on
the
my
wi-
phone.
He'll use the whiteboard.
oh, if I was just like, sha-la-la-la. Are you fucking kidding me?
Sometimes I like I've been listening to Beautiful Chorus. They have a lot of like just
Yep.
humming stuff.
Are they the
That's
ones that do the Pachamama song?
Hmm.
Pachamama.
Ooh.
I'm
Oh.
coming home.
Go to my Spotify. I think that they do the Pachamama song. I love finding, here's another key to finding this music. It's in the world music
Yeah.
category.
Yeah,
It's
it
in the
is.
Right.
world music category. So like if we were listening to the Grammys, playlists, like these are the people who would be nominated in the category of world music.
That's good to know. I would not, if you said what category it would be in,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could. I mean, maybe I would land on world eventually, but I wouldn't have thought it like soon. Like I would have not thought of it.
I wish you all had your phones. This is my list right here. So my recents liked songs: Guru, Dave Matthews, folk and acoustic mix,
Oh.
peaceful piano, 11-day challenge for April, soul mix, miracle frequency music, which we haven't talked about yet.
Oh yeah.
Yoga music,
Oh, yeah, we
relaxing
haven't.
music, and calming music.
You don't play.
That's pretty much
Do
the
you do
extent.
frequency healing music when you're teaching class?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought about frequencies before we started because I wanted to talk about that because I
Yeah.
have recently discovered frequency as something like sometimes if I can't sleep, which is rare lately.
That's awesome.
Sometimes it's a audiobook I have, and I'll set the timer for like 15 minutes, like
Yeah.
something like not an hour because I'm going to be asleep, so I don't want to miss a lot. So it's like
Right.
15 minutes of that. But then I found frequencies, which is like totally a different set of like something to listen to, and I don't know what I want to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like apparently there's frequencies for like lots of different things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which, I mean, if you know more about that than me, please.
So there's different frequencies that line up with different brain wave patterns
Okay.
and speeds. So you can use sound frequency to bring your brain out of one state and into another state.
Okay.
This is why it's like, and everything has a frequency. So
Yeah,
it's
there's,
not like
they'll say for prosperity even you'll find
Right,
different
or
frequencies
healing or
for
something
Healing.
deep healing.
Yep.
One of mine is called deep delta state.
Yeah.
Calm state of mind.
Yep.
That's one of my playlists.
Yeah,
Delta
so when
state
you
of-
get into
state of
delta
mind.
waves, you're just in that very sweet zone of peacefulness.
Mhm.
And all music has a frequency, and then there is specific music that is just about, which is similar to sound healing, similar to when we play singing bowls or gongs or anything like that. But the cool thing is like looking up the research that's out there about this, because I remember being in my undergrad and recognizing that I wrote papers so much faster and better when I was listening to like Beethoven the whole time.
Yeah.
And so like there's ways that your brain is just turned on in different areas by frequency.
Yeah,
you
I
can
was
use.
one time I was in covering the studio, and this is months ago. Alyssa came in. Shout out to Alyssa.
Hey,
And I had like just Baroque radio on Pandora playing, just because have something on. And she mentioned something about how like she read something where studies say like this is a genre that is excellent for focus because of frequency, instruments, tempo, stuff like that.
Yep.
And it's great. I've also found frequencies for focus, right? It's supposed to be like, it's supposed to help. I mean, like I would love to read to music and I do it, but there's always part of me that's like semi-distracted until I found frequencies. I'm like, this is white noise and this is amazing. Like it's just something in the background. I don't focus on it. It's there and it could just focus my attention on one thing. It's awesome.
Well, that's what I love about like the more complicated chants that are out there, or, you know, listening to, like we were listening to Gregorian chants for a while, and like I can listen to that and not get hooked into what the lyrics are hooked into.
Remember that was a huge thing in the 90s?
It was.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember my parents being like, reading something about like Gregorian chants are like huge now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Then when we moved here and I found the library, they still had CDs you can borrow. There was a month where I was nothing but Gregorian or any kind of chants.
Gregorian chants. And then when we were on our honeymoon in Rome, no, Florence. When we were in Florence. We were in Florence.
My mistake.
And you spent one of the first days we traveled as a married couple lying straight to my face.
I did not. It was not.
What, did you tell him that you enjoyed the music? Or?
No. So I told him that on Wednesday we were going to go to a Gregorian chant concert. I was like, we're going to go listen to monks do Gregorian chanting. Not a lie. Not a lie.
It was the lie of
I hear
omission.
an IOU in here.
It was not a lie. So we walked
IOU.
up 7,000 stairs.
Right. I wish I could remember the name
so
of
it was
this.
like a journey.
I wish I could remember the name of the
Journey to the
church because
Gregorian
it's something on the
chants.
mountain or something.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yep.
Because it was up
A
a
la Monte.
significant incline.
Gorgeous
Oh yeah.
white marble
View of the
church.
whole city.
You could see all of Florence.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Walk all the way up there. I mean, the sun is setting. It was beautiful.
And it is an attraction people go to,
Go
take
to.
pictures. You can go into
Yeah.
that. I mean, the inside is massive.
Yep.
So.
And so I was like, it's in the church. So we go in the church and we get ready for this Gregorian chanting, and we sit down, and the monks come out and they start doing their chanting.
They start mass. It was mass. You lied.
I did not lie.
You did not say it was mass.
Well, we're going to have to find that version of Rick Steves' book where I found out about this
So
happening.
was there chanting?
Yes.
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 'cause
Oh, yeah.
Wow. What?
There was no
What?
lie. There's
no lie.
There was
Okay.
no lie.
Hear the
I
tone of
wouldn't
my-
have
hear
known.
the tone of my voice.
I wouldn't have known.
This is how I always tell the truth.
If I had been there by myself, I wouldn't have known it was mass.
Right. But you're a
Like,
godless
These are
heathen.
just monks chanting.
You are a barbarian
Wow.
outside of the walls.
I am my mother's savage daughter.
You are.
I
now,
am my mother.
Speaking of a beautiful song.
savage daughter.
so now, we sit down, and I'm excited because the mass is in a very small alcove,
Yeah.
right, where it's not big at all compared to the rest of the gigantic church. And the monks come out, they process in, and they start chanting out of Latin probably, but I'm picking up on some words, and I'm definitely picking up on some actions and what's happening. I'm like, this
All looks like ritual to
this
me.
is mass. I've been
what we're doing.
hornswoggled
I love
into
ritual.
mass. Which then I'm like, why don't you just
Hornswoggled.
hornswoggled?
Hornswoggled.
Been
Well, that's a tongue
hornswoggled into.
twister.
If you would have just said, "Can we go to mass?" I would like to see the mass with these monks. I would have
It
said,
didn't say
"Ye-"
mass.
What?
It didn't say mass.
Okay.
Yeah.
It did not.
Anyway, I was caught off guard.
So how was your experience?
It was wonderful.
It was
Yeah.
so good.
Not to bury the lead, it was wonderful.
I feel like music, concerts and stuff is kind of like a regular for you both. I mean, I feel like
Oh,
you've
yeah.
gone to a couple recently, right?
Yeah. I mean, local
I
in
mean,
town.
considering how old we are,
No.
and that music concerts like to start at freaking midnight,
Yeah.
I think we do well because music is so important to us.
Yeah, I mean, well, the latest show we went to was when we saw Metallica 2 summers ago. That like straight up was in the summer.
We just went and saw the High Kings in Galaxy.
Yeah, they started at 8.
Yes,
When we saw live 2 weeks before that, they started at 7.
they did.
Now, like this show was like
They were
it was-
also in their
Yes,
40s.
7 o'clock.
They
Oh,
were
they're-
like,
no,
yes.
they're in their 50s.
In their
They're
50s.
older, way older than us. The Metallica show, like it was a Buffalo football stadium in the
Mhm.
summer, so like it didn't start until it got dark. So it was like 9 o'clock. But I was so jazzed, I didn't really care.
Well,
It
we
was
took a
awesome.
nap.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We took a
Oh,
nap before.
gosh.
We got to take a nap.
What did you all listen to when you were younger? What do you remember, like, playing in your CD player? Like, top 3.
You gonna go first?
No.
So I'm a child, like child of the 90s. So like when I first started getting into music, 91, 92.
Mm-hmm.
So, and before then in school, all my friends were into like rap, which I didn't dislike, but just wasn't it for me.
Wasn't Matt.
It wasn't until a friend of mine, 2 things happened. A friend of mine played for me Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. And then I saw the video for Enter Sandman by Metallica. And I'm like, that is what I want my music to sound like for the rest of my life. Those guitars, that pace, that kind of feel, that was it. That's my music forever.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily, and there's like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, like anything early 90s, Soundgarden.
We're
Yeah.
like opposites.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there is one genre of music I would say I actually do not like,
Okay.
and it's country.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the only thing I actually do not listen to.
Yeah.
Everything else comes up in my feed algorithm, and I'm like, cool, give it a try. Country is the only one that doesn't really do it for me.
I like to sing a lot when I was younger to myself, and
In the
coun-
mirror.
Yeah, country was really easy for me to like sing to, and I think it made me really sad now that I think about it.
Well, you know what? Let me amend that because
But yeah, I
I don't
would.
like more recent country. Like I like
Like
Johnny
Johnny Cash.
Cash.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Stuff like
So
that.
for me, I
Dolly
think there's
Parton.
some
Dolly
more
Parton.
recent conspiracies around this person, and see how I did that? And Garth Brooks was like,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love.
He was huge.
I
I
love that this is a conspiracy.
love
I just recently found out
Garth
about
Brooks.
this.
Yeah.
Ah,
I could see
Mine
that.
is Garth Brooks, Jewel, and probably like
Oh, okay.
Alanis Morissette
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
that's
of
good.
that nature.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
What about you, Jeannie?
I mean, I like a very wide variety of music. I think because all of my aunts and my uncle
Mm-hmm.
kind of listened to different things. So I was exposed to a lot of different things. But like staples have always been Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi,
Yep.
Aerosmith, Jewel,
Yep.
Alanis Morissette, Stevie Nicks. Like it just
That is like the trunk of your musical tree,
Yeah.
and everything else branches.
everything
off of
else
that, but that
just
is
kind
the-
of like goes out in, various
Yeah.
directions and and I went through phases of other things like in high school in the 90s. Often it was the Grateful Dead or show tunes. Like I went through this
Yeah.
stint of like I'm listening to every single musical soundtrack, was obsessed with musicals, obsessed with learning, acting out by myself or with a friend.
Mm-hmm. In the front yard. That was me. Watch me.
I mean, definitely not in the front yard. We lived downtown, but we were, with like karaoke machines.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
Wow.
a big thing.
That's good. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Um,
I pulled up my Spotify on my computer
Let's hear
oh.
so I could see my.
I want you to share with us your Sahibi Kriya playlist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well, right now, I mean, if you want me to read what
starts with
my
wolves howling.
you're not wrong. Let's say I got. Well, they have books on Spotify, which I just
Yes.
discovered,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I'm listening to because I'm reading a book with a friend of mine, and I'm way behind. So I found it on Spotify, so I'm listening to it and reading it. I got a lot of catching up to do.
Okay.
We got Star Wars, everything,
Oh, right.
movie soundtracks.
Movie soundtracks
Right.
are
Every
big.
time I get in Jeannie's car there's like the Star Wars or
Yeah.
some trilogy or something
We
like
got-
Indiana
that.
Jones.
I'm getting schooled.
Avengers Infinity War I listened to. We got Metal Mix. We got a playlist I called the Hogan Files. That's like creepy H.P. Lovecraft stuff that I like to listen to. My Sahibi is another genre that I think I love and always will is movie soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. I remember almost buying the Star Wars trilogy on CD for $50. And my friend at the time who was with me in the store was like, that's a lot of money. What are you doing? I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I shouldn't buy it. Biggest regret. Because it's not like it was a phase. I'm like, I still love it. So like, love movie soundtracks. Especially like the Star Wars, like the Marvel movies, Indiana Jones, right? The old school Christopher Reeve Superman, like
Orchestras.
orchestras.
We really love
We do.
orchestras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, those movies, like the mythology, the comic books, that's my only probably connection to like the spiritual realm is like those stories. So the extension is just the music, which I love anyway. So that's the connection for me. My Sahibi starts with a track from Avengers Endgame when I'm doing the double leg lifts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all timed. Like I had to find tracks that were awesome, but also in the right time period because they when the song's over, I know it's time
It's
to
time
move
to
on.
switch. Yeah.
The next track for the single leg lifts is a track from the movie King of Kings by like I think Miklos Rosa, like maybe in the '60s about Jesus. But I heard it on a shuffle. I'm like, this is amazing. And then a track from that movie Kingdom of Heaven
Yep.
with Orlando Bloom, Ridley Scott movie.
Mm-hmm.
Another Avengers track for what's it called when you like you kick your leg back,
You're
you're on all
tabletop.
fours, tabletop, you kick
Mhm.
one leg back and the opposite arm goes
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another Avengers track. And then there's another Avengers track when I do frogs.
That's good.
It's like the scene, in the scene in Endgame when they're all walking towards
Uh-huh.
the thing to go back in time for the time heist. Sabrina, why are you shaking your head no?
Serena hasn't seen any of these movies.
You haven't seen any of these?
I don't know. I got a short attention span.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna give you a list. Do you know your boys like the Marvel movies?
I do. I'm with them and I'm participating.
She's not. She's posting on Mighty Network.
Oh my gosh. Oh God. Nothing
She's
connects me.
answering student emails.
Nothing connects me more
probably
to
not for
my
her.
purpose spiritually than the soundtrack for Infinity War and Endgame.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I love that though.
And then
They're epic. It's
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's like, that's
Well,
how I like my movies. It's just like I want the epic. I want like the hero going against something they have no business
I
going
do know the
up against
Avengers
kind of thing.
soundtrack. I do know that one because that was like a regular one played at my last work job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like we
Oh.
would listen to music and it was like, all right, what's everyone? No
Nice.
input. It would just be automatic. Avengers soundtrack.
It's amazing.
So yeah.
I have Jop G. Is that what it's called?
Wow.
For
Okay.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I
the-
found it on Spotify, so I got there. I set a timer for that because I do not do more than 3 minutes because I
Right.
just cannot.
Yeah.
And then after that, Shavasana, which is like I'm so tired right now, is usually either Princess Leia's theme,
Oh.
it's Yoda's theme, or there's another artist I found, Matthew Kosel, who does like kind of like chanting, kind of like frequency type music. And I found a track by his that's like 6 minutes long that I really like kind of listening to in the post Kriya state.
I gotta say, like, I've never related to music the way that I think that other people do until more recently. I would say over the last like 4 years. My brother was in a band. I have a lot of friends that have bands, and I will say, like, I don't know if this makes sense to anyone listening, but like I've never heard music. Okay. Like I would go to the shows and I would be there and I'd be present, but like I just like really wouldn't, I guess it just wasn't my thing until I went to a live immersion when it had a Kundalini immersion and it had live music with it. And it was like, I'm into my practice and all of that. And then I just like was doing nothing probably. And then all of a sudden I heard the music. And I kid you not, it was like really the first time I heard music. And I was able to hear the cello and I was able to hear the drums, the guitar. I was able to hear the harmonium, all of it together. And then it was like this thing happened where I could hear all of it separate. And like we were dancing to the music, and there's so much fun because whatever switched at that moment for me, I could move and dance to the cello. And then I could then tune into the drums and then dance with the drums. I guess I just never really had that correlation between body, mind, listening until really that moment.
Wow.
And then after that, we had gone to some shows. I went to our friend's band practice. And ever since then, I don't know, I'm just able to hear the music where I feel like I really was not present with that before.
It's funny you say that because I think of hearing music, and a lot of times people will say, oh, this is what this song's about. I'm like, oh, is it? I didn't listen to the words at all. Like that is the words and lyrics are usually the last thing to register.
Yeah.
If I'm listening to any music, it's always the guitars. I mean, if it's or the rhythm, I guess I should say. But if it's like a traditional band, it's like if I'm hearing the guitar licks or the riff, and that's kind of what I focus on.
Yeah.
Lyrics are such an afterthought.
I just feel music all the time. Like it's almost like I have to consciously not move when music is playing. It doesn't matter. I mean, probably the worst is when I'm driving because I just want to like completely rock out to whatever's happening and I have to be operating a vehicle. But like it is like it's compulsive. We'll be at trivia and it's DJ trivia. So there's always
fun.
songs playing and the songs are often hints.
Oh, okay.
So
That's creative.
there's songs playing and I want to dance to everything.
You really do.
Matt's like, what are you doing? We're at trivia. And
It's like,
I was like,
wait, what's the song? What's the name of the song? Who does
and
the
I'm
song?
dancing and he's like, but do you have an answer?
There's like a meme that goes around like that, like different. What generation are they from? They're like every song that comes on, dancing. Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and this has always been true my entire life. Like when I was a little girl, I had family members that would always call me Jean the Dance Machine because I
That's cute.
could not help myself.
Which is funny that we get along as well as we do.
Because I just dance around you.
You do.
I'm like,
And I'm just like, okay.
and you're like, I'm trying to cook chicken.
Yeah.
You distracted me from the sick guitar riff I'm trying to hear.
Trying to cook chicken and listen to this guitar. Yeah, and I'm glad that I feel music the way that I do because I do think that I miss hearing a lot of the music because
I understand. Yeah.
I can't hear very well.
Oh my
so
God.
I think
If I lost my hearing, I would
Let's-
be devastated.
Let's talk
I
about
know.
kirtan.
Oh, kirtan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, what was that, a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
It's like my body is yearning for another
Yeah.
Wow.
one. It was just like there was a moment I looked over at you and I think you looked at me and like I get like, I don't know why, emotional. It was just like we were so euphoric,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We were just like two kids in like pure joy, I felt.
Yep. Singing
Yeah,
around the
singing.
campfire.
Which
Yeah, it was so sweet. I was like, and sometimes it takes me a little bit to get to that.
Right.
Okay,
of
when I'm
course.
with people, and it's not even like a thought, but I think it's just like my nervous system's regulating, and then it's like, and then you
Right.
just like,
Well, it's like I don't know the words necessarily, or I've heard this chant, but not very many times. And so you're in your head and you're
Right.
like, I'm going to chant this wrong, or
Right.
I'm going to be the one in the room that's off. But kirtan
or I'm
doesn't
going to
work
be
that
chanting
way.
too loud,
Right.
or I don't want to overstep, and this and this. But I tell you, friends, when you just like let your heart go with it, it's so heart opening, and it's so you feel. This is my experience. I feel so connected to everything.
I mean, I won't say I don't like kirtan. Not my jam. I can't believe I haven't been dragged to kirtan yet by you, which, to be fair, you have every right to. But I have started playing music with one of our friends.
Cool.
And I've only like played along to like the CDs or like by myself. I've never played music with someone ever in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, I play percussion, like basically. I don't know what the box is called, but it can like,
Yeah.
it's basically a percussion box he sits on and plays.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he came over and I'm like, all right, I've never done this before. You play this beat, I can play this song. And he did it. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
We sound amazing.
This just
Like,
happens.
it's so, like, it really is. I'm like he came over a few days ago.
It's like
and
we
you
sound
were-
so good, and then
you
you
were
listen
there.
back. It's
Honey,
like,
you were there because you're our band's lead vocals.
I'm lead
and
vocals.
we
Love
pulled
it.
off Free Fallin'.
We did.
Because it's 3 chords. It's
It's
all
so
3 chords,
good.
the whole song. So
We
it's
nailed it.
not difficult.
Yeah.
But like, just playing in time together
Mhm.
was just such a cool. Like, I was just so happy. Like, I was just,
Mhm.
I was like, we sound amazing. This is so
Yeah.
much fun. I can't wait to do this again. This is
Yeah.
gonna be great. Like, totally get the joy is what it
Yeah.
was. Participating in any way in live music.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that.
It's live music is an extra level of just present moment awareness, embodiment. Like you're
Mhm.
there, it's all happening around you and you can feel it. But I think like students ask often like, well, I'm not really into chanting music or yoga type of music. Is it okay? And obviously, if you've made it this far on the podcast, it's okay. We play all kinds of music in class.
I have
But for
like
me-
4 different podcasts or playlists for music for yoga, none of which contain any
Yeah.
And
yoga music.
And I just feel like all music is spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I just
look at
feel
that.
like it is. It's artists being
That's exactly
inspired
Mm.
by the divine, however you define that,
Uh-huh.
to create. Like this is like something that is flowing through and it's palpable and you can feel it and it comes from source, whatever source is.
And since that moment that I had that's how I view it. Like, even if it's music that I don't necessarily resonate with, I'm able to be there
Mhm.
and say, wow, like this person is really into this.
Yeah.
And that makes me love it
Mm.
because they're into it. And just as you said, it's coming through them from source. These are just things that I believe. So
Me too.
I always, when I hear a live track, you were playing some Stevie Nicks or Fleetwood Mac the other day in the
Mhm.
kitchen.
I love
And-
live tracks.
And it's like, she introduced the song, then they played it, and then they stopped. And she's like, thank you. And I'm like, I had the moment where like, that song happened because like 5 different people did 5 separate things in unison, so to speak.
Mhm.
And like, any part of it, this wouldn't work if one of them was missing. Like, they all
Yeah.
needed each other, and it all worked. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that all these people can do this different thing to create this other thing every
It's
now and
yoga.
then hits me. I'm like,
Mhm.
holy crap.
It's yoga.
Way to bring it home. It's yoga.
It's
Well
yoga.
done, honey.
Wait, don't forget me over here.
So I think that most of these playlists are going to be in the show notes.
Nice.
Yeah.
We can share these with all the people, especially the Matt Sahibi Kriya one,
Mhm.
because it's pretty epic. It's pretty dope. Never feel more like a superhero.
Yeah, and you could always put it in your class description. I've been to a lot
Blame
of
someone else for
no,
this
I've
playlist.
been to a lot of different classes where they're like 80s music. You
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
I put in mine mantra music.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, so
people
you have
know.
a little bit know of what to expect.
to expect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all yoga.
It's
Mhm.
all
Well done, honey.
It's all yoga.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, for YFI, keep on checking out our playlist, guys. Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
This is Matt.
This is Jeannie.
This is Sabrina.
Bye, everyone.